Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am Lieutenant General Bhupinder Singh from India, retired, and run a non-profit for the elderly and for the homeless. We have an old age home and we are also giving shelter, food and cover to 500 destitute and abandoned widows. I am very conscious of a couple of facts. One of them is that we are in the last session of the day, and I have been warned while I was sitting that I have only 10 minutes. The second is that I have been crushed between two sessions for adolescents, and I have to cover old age. So mentally, I'll be taking you on a different frequency. And finally, what is old age? What age do you start calling yourself old? And we had a very tough time in our country because most of our parliamentarians are above 60. So they agreed, okay, fine, let's call 60 as the old age. So all our schemes, when we say old age, cover and are meant for people above 60. I shall cover my presentation in these parts. I'll not go over them because I don't have time to cover those. At the time of independence, India, the average age was 32 years. Now down the line, it has gone up to 66 years. And yesterday, in the aircraft, I was reading that Bangladesh has got life expectancy which is 4 years more than India. And I do compliment them for this. We have about 103 million senior citizens. We are the second largest in the world. We are only second to China, who has got 130 million. The old age population is approximately 9% of our overall population. And as per one UN study, it is likely to become 178 million in the year 2030. This implies that almost 20% of our population will be senior citizens, and interpolating it, 1 in every 4 or 5 citizen would be senior citizens 60 plus. The ratio of men and women is almost 50-50, but the women outlived the men. This is a universal phenomena by another 8 to 10 years. And amongst the married, generally those ladies in that age bracket are widows. And that poses a different kind of a problem on the planners. The 65 to 70% of our old age people are below the poverty line. And gradually, there is a migration taking place towards the cities and towns where the able-bodied people are coming into the towns looking for livelihood. And the senior citizens are left into the villages to fend for themselves. So, being abandoned almost and being below the poverty line in the rural areas, it is becoming a very big challenge for the country. In 2050, approximately 70% of this population, that is the older lot, will be destitute and living in the rural areas. In the last 2 decades, a lot of discussion in the international fora has taken place. I have listed some of them on this. The important ones are the Madrid Action Plan on Aging in 2002, based on which our policy was framed, and the ESCAP conference which just took place in September 2012. And Government of India is a signatory on all these documents and is committed to address the concerns of the elderly. How do I go back? How do I go back?
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, these are some of the important decisions that were taken in this September conference. You have to pardon me, I am totally illiterate. They made me a general in the army because of this qualification, as far as the computer is concerned. So ESCAP, the important recommendations were to develop policies and models for promoting healthy aging to support the healthy lifestyles, active aging, and the right to health care. The others are there for you to go through, but all our policies which are going to be framed, and a draft is ready for, we call it the draft 2011, and hopefully it will be put into effect by early 2013. We've had this in pursuance to the UN General Assembly Resolution 47/5 of 1998 to observe 1999 as the year of International Year for the Older Persons. We framed our national policy of 1999. This policy took into consideration the challenges emerging due to transition in society and the size of the population. It envisages the state to support financially with food security and health care and shelter for the 60 plus. Now 13 years have passed and we have made out a new draft for this policy. And this policy which is going to come out will be in consonance with the Madrid Plan and will have a barrier-free framework which will work towards an inclusive and age barrier-free society for the aged. Will promote the concept of aging in place. This came out as a result of a lot of discussion on the international platforms, that you bring the aged into the cities and towns and give them care, they will be like fish out of water. So you have to plan for all your schemes to give them shelter, care and support in the homes. The state will provide for all social security, health care, shelter and welfare. We have come out with a law which says that the senior citizens will be taken care of, and I'll cover this a little while later, but in the policy it will be there, mandatory for everyone, all the states to follow this law. And the states will set up separate budgets for senior citizens to implement this. Some of the schemes which have been set out by the Government of India, in our case, the Ministry for Social Justice and Empowerment is the nodal agency. The funds are given to the respective ministries to implement, but they are the nodal agencies to coordinate and control. These schemes basically cater for shelter, food, medical care to the senior citizens, and most of the funds are given by the center to the states to implement this. These schemes I'm projecting on the slides would also be available in your paper when it comes. Next, I come to health care. India is the home for 1/8 of the world's senior citizen population. As they age, they get physically and mentally weak and have problems. Our health ministry is sensitive to their medical needs and has given priority to health care of 60 plus. The bid for allocation of funds has increased 5-fold, and we are planning to put up healthcare centers in every district. The basic healthcare will be piggyback with the public health scheme based in the NRH scheme, which the Joint Secretary had discussed in the previous sessions. That is to provide in the primary health center the basic health care, in the secondary and tertiary level care to be taken at the district hospitals. Every district will have a hospital to take care of the senior citizens. The adequate tax benefits are going to be given to the senior citizens. The hospices at every state will be provided by both the NGOs as well as by the state. Here, a lot of reliance is going to be given on the NGOs to take care of the senior citizens. I come to the next part, which is the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. I think India is probably the only country which has by law made it mandatory that every family will look after their elderly. Their children will have to provide, if they are not living with their elders are not living with them, will have to provide for a pension for them, which can be up to the tune of 10,000 rupees depending on the status of the children or the family. Family also includes your brothers, sisters, and grandchildren. There's a legal bar that when a senior citizen appeals in a court for any grievance, he does not need a lawyer to fight for his case. Old age homes will be established in every district, and the care will be provided by the state. One more provision that I would like to highlight is that generally the abuse to the senior citizens starts when they will their property to their next of kin. Now, in this law, it has been made possible that should you do it and they ill-treat you, your children or your family, that property registration can be annulled and it can be restored back to the senior citizen. So this is one of the ways by which their arms have been strengthened even at that old age. And finally, I come to the recommendations. The center and the state government should scale up the awareness of Senior Citizens Act and all the government schemes which I mentioned. A survey was done and only 8% of senior citizens are aware of their rights which are provided in this act and also of the schemes which the government has set out. So there is a need to scale up the awareness. Facilitate access to government schemes by simplifying the procedures. Here, our bureaucratic tangles, like any other country, are large and it takes a while. Generally, before the old man kicks the bucket, the aim should be that he gets his benefits. Increase the budgetary support to senior citizens. The nodal ministries, every one of them, has been asking for additional support, financial support, and this time in this 12th plan, there is a plan to multiply it fivefold. Hopefully it comes through. And finally, geriatrics should be included as a chapter in all the training of the medical and the paramedical. Presently, we have only 2 colleges which are giving a degree for geriatrics. One is in Delhi and the other is in Chennai. All others are only giving diplomas and short courses. So once it is given as a discipline, quite obviously the health care of the senior citizens would improve. With this, I come to the end of my presentation, and Chairman, sir, you will be pleased to note I have stuck to my time. Thank you.
Thank you.